Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, want to give thanks to everybody supporting us on Patreon, also on YouTube members. We couldn't do it without your support.
We deeply appreciate it.
As here we are in 2026. Wow, started this channel in 2017. Holy cow, time is flying, guys.
Today's one of those 111 days, or is it 1111 or 111?
Yeah, it's 111 2026, and 2 plus 2 plus 6 is 10. So it's ones all across the board. You know, here you go. Supposedly, Greenland invasion is being drawn up. Donald Trump orders army chiefs to draw up a plan to invade Greenland. U.S. President emboldened by the success of the Maduro capture operation. We'll talk about this more in EEARTS live. But you could see what's going on, and it's just wild to see the just craziness. We thought it was crazy, in 2017, and the craziness is off the charts. And I really do think we haven't seen anything yet when it comes to craziness. And our whole paradigm, our whole reality is going to be so blown away, so changed, you will not recognize this world in 2035.
Hang on tight.
Yeah, because things are changing so rapidly. So yeah, Donald Trump has ordered his special forces commanders draw up plans for an invasion of Greenland, but it's being resisted by senior military figures. Sources say the policy hawks around the president, led by political advisor Stephen Miller, have been so emboldened by the success of the operation that captured Nicolas Maduro that they want to move quickly to seize the island before Russia or China could make that move. British diplomats believe Trump is also motivated by a desire to distract American voters from the performance of the U.S. economy before the midterm elections later this year, which could shift Congress control back over to the Democrats. When you look at everything that's going on, you have Europe moving troops into Greenland right after, all this has been stated about an attempt to buy Greenland, annexing it, invading it. And then you literally have Britain, Germany, and France reportedly holding talks about deploying forces to Greenland. Wait a minute. So does this mean NATO is going to be facing off against NATO?
I don't know.
Greenland controls Arctic shipping lanes, U.S. missile warning systems, and something we're going to get into more here, rare earth minerals needed for AI, weapons, and satellites. It is the northern gate to North America. This article and the one after it here, these are both from April of 2025. And they're talking about Greenland becoming a freedom city. Rich donors push Trump to make this a freedom city, a libertarian freedom city. Okay, it's a lot of contradictions going on here, isn't there? As the Trump administration intensifies efforts to acquire Greenland from Denmark or take it by force. Again, this article was from April. What you have is Silicon Valley tech investors promoting the frozen island as a site for a so-called Freedom City. Yet this includes people like Peter Thiel, by the way, a venture capital firm, tech billionaire. Yeah, and others too, big names. You got people like, again, Bill Gates, and you have Jeff Bezos type of names in the mix. What is really going on with Greenland? The billionaire's dream of building this amazing new different Silicon Valley out in the middle of frozen Greenland with 57,000 people on this territory that's bigger than Texas. It's not too hospitable there. The people seem nice, but the weather certainly is challenging, to say the least. So what is this? This is talking about emerging technologies like AI and mini nuclear reactors, energy-intensive AI data centers that are probably going to have a lot of us up in arms as they start to come in and literally dominate everything. There's even ways they wrangle taking taxpayer money to fund these things and even bill us for the energy, that's being used by these type of centers. I mean, it's just incredible what we see going on Earth. We are always getting the short end of the stick, so to speak, when we're talking about the masses and the elites. I do like that term instead of elites. It's elites. Large deposits of critical and rare earth minerals buried beneath the island's ice sheets could also potentially be used to manufacture consumer electronics. The so-called startup city, which bears similarities to another ongoing venture in California's Solano County, reportedly already has the backing of PayPal founder Peter Thiel and Ken Howry, President Donald Trump's pick for Denmark ambassador. So, it's an asset grab going on. And, we were talking really about some fascinating stuff. The idea that there's different ultra-terrestrial forces behind each of the countries you see going on, which goes back to that biblical verbiage that says, Deuteronomy 32:8, when the sons of the gods divided the earth amongst themselves, each taking their own tribe. And we talked about how Plato talked about this at much greater detail, talking about how the earth was divided by the gods, divided into different groups and different tribes literally being the property, just like different cattle and herds, flocks, etc., are the property of ranchers, herders, farmers, etc. It's the same thing. So are there these, in the bigger picture, extraterrestrial, ultra-terrestrial is probably a better term, because some of these beings may have lived here for many, many generations, inside the earth, under the seas, or on other land right out in the open. Just we can't get to it, see it, or we're not also told about it.
No, there's just so much information going on a dimensional level here. It's not about the 3D, hardly at all. Actually, that's the thing. I don't know. We're keeping an eye on it.
Chemical substances in shampoo that can kill hair follicles and cause the loss of hair. There's actually all sorts of toxins everywhere you look.
What chemicals in cosmetics cause hair loss? And I find this medical article on 5 ingredients that are added to cosmetics that are known to kill hair follicles and make you lose your hair. And all of them were in my kids' shampoo and conditioners that they thought were healthy versions of shampoos and conditioners, better than Pantene, Head & Shoulders, whatever.
Yeah. That look more clean and organic. The reality is, there's a lot of substances you really have to look closely. Sulfates, parabens, all sorts of different things in there that can really sabotage your health and perhaps be also contributing to that brain fog that so many people seem to have.
It's really horrible because it does. It sinks right into your skin. It goes right into your bloodstream, gets right there in your body. And they claim that it does these miraculous things. But over time, it's really causing great harm.
Yeah. And in fact, the more you look into things, the more you realize they're getting us from every angle, even the TP.
Toxic toilet paper, one of the most toxic things that goes right into our bloodstream. 3 things that you need to know right here. Number 1, the chlorine used to make this so pretty and white, poison, and it creates in the chemical reaction something called dioxins. Extremely toxic, and there's one more problem. In that process, to make this paper stronger when it gets wet, they use formaldehyde. You know how toxic that is. Those 3 toxins alone make this one of the most dangerous darn things we use. The solution is now they're selling chlorine-free toilet paper, non-bleached toilet paper. That's the way you want to go. It's really not.
And this kept coming to me through from the guides recently, which is so curious. As Cindy mentioned it, and I was saying, I was getting that same impression during meditations to check into this. Sunlight helps heal a lot of things. And of course, many people might want to take back certain actions. Get out into the sun, get some vitamin D Exercise. Again, make yourself get to the point where if you're healthy enough to break a sweat. Again, the body is built to move. Higher vitamin D levels are associated with less severe myocarditis and heart damage from whatever cause.
Very important. Nature has it. It's right there, even if you're only able to get near a window, because I know some people, they're homebound. They cannot get out. But you can get near a window. You can definitely do the littler things if you need to. There's the lights. If you need to get a light, the lights are very, very helpful. I have one myself for when I can't get out. It helps on so many levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And here we go. Dr. William Lee just revealed a mind-blowing connection. Probiotic bacteria in sourdough bread, Lactobacillus reuteri, is the same one mothers naturally pass to babies through breastfeeding. How, during late pregnancy, the gut bacteria gets called from the colon, rides in blood cells like an Uber, reaches the breast, and gets delivered in breast milk. Lab research shows it may protect against breast cancer, not just for the baby, but potentially across 4 generations. So that tangy sourdough, it's carrying a powerful, ancient, healthy legacy. Yeah, recognize the power of your microbiome. And this is something we were discussing when we were taking our walk this morning, saying, a lot of people don't realize that they're not one single intelligence. And I'm not meaning that people are not intelligent, We're not going there. You're not one single consciousness. Literally, your microbiome is talking to you all day, every day. If your microbiome is basically under the influence of dark, nasty invaders like our political system, then you're basically probably craving sugar like a mad person. Because, again, the parasites, like our political system, they basically freeload off of everybody. And, you have inside you, because you are an entire universe when you look at it. There's trillions of individual consciousnesses inside your body. And each one of them is consuming something. And, the beneficial ones tend to consume things that are going to lend to our overall health and well-being. And the malevolent ones, just the opposite. So, when we're talking about cancer, when we're talking about all sorts of worms and things like that, when we're talking about spirochetes and nasty viruses, again, build your immune system. Help those that are helping to defend your immune system. Again, your white blood cells, those are like your military going off to get rid of an invader. And it literally is like that. So give them what they need to be successful and to be strong and healthy.
These little creatures in your body, good or bad, they can control your brain. That's so important for people to understand how many happy hormones are made in your stomach that help drive your brain forward. It's so incredible. And there is a study, I wish I would have pulled it up, but it's not hard to find, about these parasites that prefer to be inside of a cat, but they're easily consumed through mice. And when these mice get these parasites, they actually become less afraid of a cat. And yes, they get eaten. And guess what? The little parasite gets his way. It's out there. It's crazy. So that should give you a really strong indication on how these little parasites work and how much control they have.
And here's a story of a goose that actually had their beak frozen. And a good Samaritan went and helped it. And, when you do these random acts of kindness, it just amplifies in the world. Let's always be thinking in terms of, how can I make the world better? How can I help people today? And people of all sorts, even, feathered people, because they are still people. They are still individual souls. They are on their own soul's journey. Believe it or not, I recognize these type of things are not taught coming out of the Abrahamic tradition in great depth in the mainstream. Yes, in the mystery school is a very, very different thing. And the original teachings, again, of Yeshua himself, for instance, are very, very different and sometimes just outright contradictory to what we take to be accepted dogma or doctrine, depending on how you're looking at it. When we see our friends, and look at this, all the things that were prescribed for one of her friends. And, for me too, I would be losing it saying, what the heck are you doing? What are you doing? Let's go back to square one. But, again, it can be very hard and dangerous when you are a drug addict, whether it's legal or not. That's being a drug addict. And, it can be very, very toxic and shocking to the body to get off things slowly. Again, I think a lot of people, in fact, I think we are entering the realms of most people at least getting curious as to whether natural things might actually suit them a little bit better.
It does need a lifestyle change to get off of these. Now, there are life-saving things out there. I don't want to take it all away. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But if you really stop and take a look around your house, check your diet, look at a lot of the chemicals that are on some of these packages, and look at what some of those chemicals can do to your body. And you start to eliminate those little by little by little, and just doing yourself a favor by readjusting your entire world. Sometimes it could take a couple years, and that's absolutely okay. Find someone who knows the ropes a little bit. Going slow is so important. You don't want to drop a huge toxic load really fast, so definitely get some help in that area if you want to do something different.
This woman from Canada was once mocked by her father as a CONS piracy theorist, and now she's taking care of him as he's wheelchair bound because he made a certain decision that she wouldn't make for herself. And we've seen this replay just countless times. You cannot keep up with the times. We've seen that play out. But this is something different. This is a different form of play. And look at these guys, 75 years old, spending their weekends driving around trains in your garden. Yeah, what would we do if we didn't have to slave our lives away? We didn't have to spend, 40, 50, 60% of our time just to pay taxes to parasitic entities that really shouldn't even exist in the first place. Again, obviously, the world has been plagued by this parasitic phenomenon that has taken over all the major power structures. I don't think it always was that way. In fact, I think even in our relatively not too distant past, things were actually better than they are at this point in time. But, at the same time, we are in a new era now, and where humanity was fighting an uphill battle, so to speak, swimming upstream against the rising tide of lower frequencies during the descending phase of the yugas, because we are on the ascending phase now. So the system is finding themselves paddling furiously upstream to maintain their illusions. And it's not going to work. It's not going to last. It's all being exposed right now. They might stretch it out a few weeks, months, maybe even a couple of years. But it's inevitable that they're being exposed, and they are failing, and they will fail because the light will shine and the light will expose them for what it is. Humans shouldn't be slaves. We are not created to be slaves. We were manipulated into thinking of ourselves as servants and slaves by entities that were just simply parasites.
Indeed.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.